What's up, gamers and tech heads? Welcome back to Gaming TI. We got another episode for you today. I'm Imani.
And I'm Tristan. And this week we finally got some Overwatch 2 news. We've been waiting. I was about to say feels like 2 years, but it's actually been about 2 years.
Yeah, it has been because it was 2019, right?
Yeah, it was 2019. BlizzCon, BlizzCon 2019 is when Overwatch 2 got announced. And
Yeah.
I don't know, like, it seems like Overwatch 2 is going to be worth the wait, bro. It looks fantastic. I'm hyped.
I'm hyped for it, man. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, we've spoken about it before, right? We've said, man, why even announce a game, all the way back then if they're not even gonna have anything for us for a while, right?
Yep, I still feel that way. But
I mean, admittedly, it's still there, but they've definitely been able to revive some of the hype that,
yep.
like it's definitely. I mean, I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I mean, we could just run through some of the things that they talked about. So they had their whole BlizzCon online event, and they talked about all their games, which I didn't even care about, not even a little. I was like,
we're not even gonna lie.
I was hoping that the stream had a fast forward button so I could fast forward through all the.
Oh shit.
I mean, the Diablo stuff looked. They had a cool cinematic. I didn't care about it, but
I honestly didn't watch anything else other than the Overwatch part.
well, so. you at least you know where we're keeping it consistent. We never claim to care about Diablo or anything like that. So
Diablo, WoW, not saying they're bad games. I don't want to get the Blizzard boys mad.
Yeah,
but it's just not,
Yeah, I'm not in that lane.
Not for us.
Yeah, I'm not in that lane, bro. FPS all the way. So some of the stuff that went through, like, I kind of want to start with the PvE stuff because that's what I'm most hyped about. So they had like these the thing that I'm most hyped about actually in the PvE side, which I knew was coming, but just seeing it made me even more hyped for it, was the skill trees. Making the Overwatch characters more of like an RPG style character, like a character that you create in something like The Witcher or Borderlands or something like that. I'm so like, so they have like what they showed off was like these skill trees that it looked like there was 3 separate trees that you can build on for each character.
Yep.
I don't know if it's I don't know if that's gonna be the same amount for every character or anything like that, but it changes the way characters can be played, like drastically.
Played, how they feel, like, what I mean? We're talking about now you can have essentially assault characters that are very much can be built as like support characters in some sense, right? Like at one point they showed a soldier with his what's it called,
the healing station,
the healing
station that moves with him.
Oh yeah. Tell me that's not Lucio. And then they also said that they also made this thing where it was able, like, it's like a force field. It can repel enemies, and they showed him run through a group of enemies and then push them away. And I was like, yo, you're basically building like AOE boop Lucio.
Yeah, it was cool. I saw they had something that you would appreciate, a Battle Mercy build that they showed off.
I saw that. I saw Mercy was flying there. She was shooting some. I was like, yo, Mercy I could get with that. I'm with that.
She looked like she was shooting fire rockets, yo. You don't need no fire for pharmacy anymore. It's just
nah. It's just Mercy, and ain't no mercy for them. So like, I am so hyped about that. Like, I saw that, I was like, there we go. Mercy's getting some love.
Yeah, man. Yeah, skill trees, I'm super hyped about. As a trace, I mean, I think they'll do some fantastic stuff. Like, I think they could do some really creative stuff, especially with mobility, which is the reason why I play Tracer, for the mobility. I think they're going to have some sick mobility stuff. And another thing is with the maps. The specifically designed PvE maps that they're gonna release. I think Toronto is gonna be one, and
Yeah.
they spoke about Rio and Toronto in the 2019 BlizzCon, and I don't know if this is gonna be a PvE map or just a story map, but they talk about India, and that India map looked incredible. It looked really, really nice.
And they said it you know, it's one of the biggest maps too, so it's you know, we're definitely gonna have some Zenyatta vibes over there, I'm sure. Like, I think the thing too is just like going back to the hero talents and the skill tree thing. As I was seeing all of this, I was like, you know, this is really awesome. And it sucks to some extent that, you know, you wouldn't be able to use this in PvP, but just imagine how tough it would be to balance something like a skill tree where, you know,
you can't do it.
When you play RPGs, you can't do it. Yeah, you can't do it. Like, when you play RPGs and you build a skill tree and like you really understand all of the parts of the tree and what moves you want a character to have, you realize how almost OP you could make a character, giving them certain attributes and certain skills and so on. So yeah, it's it sounds like it would have been a nightmare to, you know, do that for PvP, although it would have been like really cool to experience, but it's obvious why they can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, you think, you know, what would happen in a situation like that is that there'd be one build that's better than everything else, and everyone would just
it
would just be a meta again. It'd be boring. It would take away from the excitement of being able to build your own skill tree and having that your character be like so unique to you, to your playstyle, you know. So
that's why I am excited for it, like in PvE and again playing with friends. I do wonder if, I'm hoping, I don't, you know, it's Blizzard, maybe not, if cross-platform would be a thing for Overwatch 2. Fingers crossed.
They've spoken about it before. They said they are interested in cross-platform, and that was for Overwatch 1.
Yeah, so 1. But that's the thing, they've never really executed it, right? So that's why I was like, it's they said that they're interested in it, but is there a technical limitation that would stop them from being able to execute?
Maybe there would have been one before, but I think now that there's so much more games that are going that route, I think they'll be able to do it. I think I definitely think they'll look into it more, because it would be beneficial for them, especially for, even if it's just for the PvE modes, which most likely would be, or just quick play or something like that. But for PvE, I don't know, like to be able to play with your friends regardless of console, that'd be awesome. I wasn't sure like how much players the PvE is maxed out at.
That's a good point. I feel like a full squad of 6 might be a bit much. Maybe it varies by mission too. Like, I mean, there's so much variation, and maybe some missions they probably have it be consistent throughout. Now I think about it,
probably.
But I feel like 6 is a bit too much. Maybe it's gonna go back to the 4 that we've always had in like the events and so on.
Yeah, they usually stick with 4, and a lot of PvE games like Borderlands, that they stick with 4 as well. I think because with more characters, you have to make the game with more players. Sorry, you need to make the game tougher for them, right? And tougher than if it's just one person going through. I don't even know if you'd be able to queue up alone and do a PvE mission. That would be interesting to see.
Yeah, actually, and now that I think about it, a lot of games that do have like a PvE mode, like even COD Zombies, it's 4.
Yeah.
So it really is a case of, you know, 4 is kind of the average across PvE type experiences.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah. When you think about it, Back 4 Blood, same thing. Left 4 Dead. Yeah.
Yep, Left 4 Dead. Yep.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
And it's definitely interesting because I remember they said hundreds, like they're aiming for hundreds of hero missions. Which is
that one, that I was excited by that, and also a little bit nervous by that, because hundreds.
It's like, how long is this gonna take?
Not only that, it's like if it's hundreds, right? I'm assuming that the way you earn skill points is through doing the hero missions, right?
Progression, right?
So if the progression is that I need to do hundreds of missions just to get down to the bottom of the skill tree, that's gonna feel so grindy. How long is that gonna take? Hopefully, it's just a case of they're making hundreds so that when you do get the skills that you want, you have a lot of missions to go to use the skills that
Right.
character that you created. Because that's an issue that I have a lot of the times with PvE games, is that by the time you get to the point where you build the character that you want from the start,
It's over.
it's like there's nothing really left to do.
You get like one big boss battle maybe, like with everybody, but that's about it. It's kind of done there.
Yeah. So, that hundreds of missions could be a good or bad thing. I am super excited for the story though, because we know Blizzard does amazing cinematics for all their games, but specifically for Overwatch. The Overwatch cinematics are incredible. And they said that for every story mission, there's going to be a cinematic. So
yeah, there's gonna be like an intro cinematic, and they're doing cinematics on a level like I already see it. As soon as the game comes out, there's gonna be somebody who runs through the whole damn game in 48 hours just so they can make a compilation video of all of the Overwatch open cinematics.
Probably, yeah. Yep. That's gonna be out. That's gonna be out probably the day of the release.
The day of. It's like, hey guys, I just grinded for the past, however long that this game has been out, and yeah, it's done.
I'm interested to see if there would be a dynamic cinematics in a way, like you get different scenes based on what character you play,
characters that you selected and stuff.
Yeah,
I was wondering that, and they did mention something relating to that. They mentioned a branching dialogue system.
Yeah,
so that was something that really intrigued me, because man, that's got to be tough. Imagine the amount of just voice work and fleshing out of characters and background stories and combos, because obviously Mercy and Genji have history, Winston Tracer have history, so it's you really start to that was one big thing that Overwatch gave, where you had these little interactions between the characters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that really immersed you into the world and really kind of fleshed out the world of Overwatch and the relationships between these characters. Even the characters that didn't like each other, which was always a nice touch too, right?
Yeah. I don't know if you'd be able to play as characters that don't like each other, because typically the characters that don't like each other on opposing sides. So I don't know if it'd be interesting to see if you'd end up if someone like Tracer and Widowmaker will end up on the same mission together somehow. Maybe
I think it might be a case of how they generally do it, where it's I would actually like to see this where there's Easter eggs, but it's a case of you have to play through the game, you beat it first, and then you're able to then select any character. And then in certain missions, when you do select a combo like Tracer, Widowmaker, there's a little Easter egg of a voice line or some kind of interaction that they give you. That would be something really, really nice for them to include.
Yep, that would be dope. That would be dope.
So it's you don't get everything on the first playthrough, but you go back and you start making these weird combinations. I could already see somebody spending days just going back through and then saying God, okay, let me see what happens if I pick Reaper and McCree.
You seeing somebody? I could see us doing that shit, bro.
That's a very good point. And I really think that's the thing that I'm gonna look forward to, the replayability of it all,
Yeah, I mean, and something that's gonna add to the replayability is the PvP, right? Because Overwatch is a PvP game, then you're inevitably gonna get frustrated but still want to play the game. So you're gonna play some PvE missions.
That's that classic Shroud line, you know. I'm not having fun, but I want to go again.
Exactly. So and those times we're not having fun in PvP, you could you have a next game mode.
You
so,
switch it up.
Yeah. And it looks like it's gonna have a lot of varying hero missions. Like I saw something that looked it looked kind of like a BR mode. They called it Wall of Death.
The Wall of Death. Yeah. And that was the first thing that, like, I saw Wall of Death. I was like, oh god, Overwatch Battle Royale, here we come.
Yeah.
The different mission objectives and so on, like gather and return and so on.
Yeah, gather and return. There was a scavenger hunt. I don't know how that would work.
Mm-hmm.
The gather and return one looks interesting because that's sort of like the same theme of search and destroy. And I always thought like a search and destroy mode in Overwatch would be really cool.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think having like gather and return is probably very much going to be in certain missions where, we have to find the key for this door, and it's a bunch of like puzzle pieces that need to be put together. Like there's definitely going to be contextual situations. I don't think they're just going to throw you in and it's like, gather all of these random things. They'll definitely flesh it out so it makes sense why you're doing each mission that you're doing.
I mean, yeah, I'm not worried about that at all. I mean, it's Blizzard. They're always gonna have that that Blizzard polish, and I shouldn't have been surprised that the game is taking so long to release because Blizzard never releases anything except for COD, and that's Activision, really.
Yeah,
but they never release anything that's not ready.
Yeah, not polished, and they said it. They said right now we can sit down and we can have a fun, evening playing Overwatch 2. But it's not quite there yet. It's not polished, and we want it to be that before we pass it off into the hands of the players. And I could respect that.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it looks like it's going to be amazing, and that's just the PvE side.
PvE.
There was some interesting PvP stuff, bro. Like,
man,
first of all, that the new PvP maps. Like that Rome map. Oh my god.
Rome? Yeah. Honestly, the first thing that came to my mind though, like as they were going through the map, I was just like, please don't be like Paris. Please don't be like Paris.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like it could be because it looks like it's an escort or maybe a hybrid. But it looks like they were like those narrow streets for you to escort a payload. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, it definitely did like have that vibe to it. It just kind of scared me. Like every time I see a new map, I'm just like, please no Paris.
Please don't be Paris. Yeah. I mean,
and I do like the dynamic, although I don't. Did they say that was going to be part of? I don't think that's going to be part of regular game. Like
yeah.
PvE, right? Like the dynamic weather and all of that stuff.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that looked super cool. Like
so good.
Anubis is my least favorite map that's in the game currently because Paris and Horizon got axed. But I hate Anubis, and when I saw Anubis in that sandstorm, I was like, this is so cool. This might be one of my favorite PvE maps. It looks so cool. Sandstorm Anubis. Oh,
I think that there's a really cool element and a really cool dynamic that can be done if you just add in those kind of, it changes the characters you pick. And, like, again, if you get dropped onto a map and then you see like the little sandstorm symbol, like, like, okay, there's a sandstorm going on. Now you have to like rethink your comp, right?
Yeah.
And I think that adds like another layer to it because now in a sandstorm map, that means now you can't have a Widow that's standing up in the back somewhere. You might be able to have her if she has sights, like her ultimate, but at the start of the game, she might very much be useless because she doesn't have, that long line of sight anymore. It changes the map.
Yeah, it changes the way you'd go through the map. And yeah, I mean, you could say the same for like, it looks like there's going to be day-night cycles. I don't know if they're going to have them like be dynamic during a mission. It'll be interesting to see if they...
I don't think so.
It'd be interesting to see if they did something like that. They showed off a lot of maps at sunset, It'd be cool if
Yeah.
those maps eventually went tonight. That'd be dope.
Yeah,
Even if
for
they
sure.
don't though, like the maps like Hollywood at sunset, I mean, that should be something that's in the game now.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm thinking.
Oh
I
my, that
mean,
looks
then
so
we have
cool.
the new New York City map.
Oh yeah, that I think
They really went into depth and details there, man.
yeah, that New York City map looks dope. I think that looks more like a Control. Is it? Is Control? That's King of the Hill. I forget the their terminology for it.
Yeah, like it's a CP map, right? A control point map.
I don't think it's going to be a control point map because they mentioned that that they're looking at removing 2CP.
Yeah, Jeff did mention that they said new game modes and reevaluating old game modes, and that might mean maybe no 2CP in Overwatch 2.
Oh yeah, but I mix up the names so much. When you say control, I'm thinking 2CP, but control is not 2CP. Control is like Li Shang and stuff like that. 2CP is actually
yep the
assault, which is
exactly like Anubis and so on.
Anubis, Paris, fuck that map, Horizon, all the worst maps in the game. All the worst maps in the game.
Yeah, I don't know those. It's fun as a variety sometimes, but like I never want to play a 2CP map, you know?
Like ever. If they had a veto system where you could veto a map type, I don't think anyone would ever play 2CP. We would never see
it would be a
Hanamura
very
again.
low chosen. And I think that's the cool thing too, right? Having they're now exploring also like different parts of the same map. Like what was the King's Row, right? Jeff said that, you know, they're really putting in the work for the environmental artists and stuff are really putting in the work, because there's this one point of King's Row where there's like a gate, he said, right? And then it opens and like he saw a whole new part of, was it King's Row?
Yeah, it was King's Row, yeah.
And he said, you know, he saw a whole new part of King's Row that he never saw before. And it's things like that I'm excited for. Like the same map, but now there's this new area to it and like these new parts to it.
Yep. Or even the same map just played differently. Like there was a point where like the payload, where it usually goes into the third objective and King's Row, it turned and went to like where the attack and spawn would be on PvP right now on King's Row. And there was like that Numbani clip where the payload was actually moving backwards. That looked
I'm very excited to see what some of these new game modes and what these reevaluations of old game modes that they release is going to be.
Yep.
I will say they made role passives now as well.
Right. And that's,
or they're thinking about implementing that.
Right. That I'm curious like what you think about that, because I know what I think about it. What do you think?
I think it's interesting. Again, as somebody who plays tanks and support, I think it's one of those things where I think I would like it personally, but I could understand the implications that it has on the game. And like for me, because here's what they said for tank. They said tanks, when enemies do damage to tanks, it generates less ult charge, right? And also less knockback. And then supports, you know, they might get they get like passive healing, like Mercy, just not to the same extent. And you know, what did they say? Change to the tank role, making tanks much more like toe-to-toe brawlers.
Yeah, well, DPSs, all DPS have speed, like they're faster.
Speed boost,
than every other character. I like some of the changes. Like I like the support change a bit.
Yeah.
I think they have to be really careful about how how they tune the numbers for that passive healing, because right now it can be really difficult to even get to a support on.
Yeah.
So like even to get to that backline can be difficult, and like you look at a support hero like Lucio, right? You're telling me that
Mm-hmm.
Lucio could like stay on speed boost, and you've got to kill this dude.
Generate passive healing.
Yeah, you got to kill this dude while he's on speed boost and just zooming all over the map. That can be, that's basically Mercy in her ult. That's
all the time. Yeah, without the flying. But yeah, it's ridiculous. And again, the whole thing is they said that there would be a delay, before.
Yeah.
But at the same time, speed boosted Lucio is hard to hit as is.
Yep.
Like a good Lucio. So it's not, I don't think it would take that much time for Lucio to like bounce around a little bit, and then all of a sudden he starts healing while he's on speed boost,
Yep.
That sounds like a nightmare.
Yep. I mean, for some characters like Ana, I think it's a much needed change for Ana. If they just gave that to Ana.
She was the first person that came to my mind.
Yeah. I mean, if they just, because she's basically the only one who doesn't have something like that. I mean, Zen has his shields that regenerates over time.
Yep.
And Batiste can heal himself, and so can Lucio, and Mercy has a regen and stuff like that. And
yep.
So Ana, it makes sense to give that ability to Ana. I would have been happy if they just gave it to Ana alone.
If if it was just an Ana ability, like if they just added that to Ana, I'd have no problem with that at all.
Yeah. I mean, I get it for Batiste, because sometimes like you just take a little damage on Batiste and you don't feel like using your cooldown, because that to heal yourself on Batiste, it's like a 12 or 15 second cooldown or something like that. It's a long cooldown.
Yep.
So like
especially as a healer.
Yeah, as a healer, it just feels shitty not being able to heal yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think they should be careful about how they tweak those numbers. The speed to damage dealers, I think is fine. I don't see that as being a huge buff, because Genji and Tracer already have that. Like naturally, they move faster than everyone else.
Yeah.
So if every character moves as fast as they do, but still don't have their mobility, like I don't see it as much of a problem. It could get a little bit iffy when you think of characters that can fly. If they have that speed boost as well, then that's a little, like Echo and Fire being able to get that.
Yeah.
Then it matters a bit, because they can be so oppressive, and their one counter is that you can somewhat reliably hit them while they're just floating there.
While they're in the air. Yep.
So if that changes, then that could be. They have to be careful with it. I like the tank change though. The tank one,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because there's some, I mean, even as a tank player myself, I farm my ult, like when I'm playing Zarya especially, against other tanks.
Yeah.
Like you just throw the grenades, and that's just ult farm right there.
Yeah. Right now, tanks in Overwatch. I do think
that tanks.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Right now, tanks in Overwatch, they don't feel like tanks. Like they don't feel like this big brawly character that has the most HP in the game that's there to engage. It feels like you have to play somewhat passively, almost like a support or a DPS character. Just you have the utility to make space, but you just don't have the survivability.
Yeah, right? Exactly. And I think the thing too is like things like less knockback also makes them feel more like a tank. It grounds them, and having your tank be grounded really kind of changes the dynamic in terms of the team. Like now you can have a real team push, because that Afara is not gonna knock Orion into like her whole team just for them to completely destroy him and then leave the rest of the team open, right?
Or even Wrecking Ball, because that's like a big thing now. Just Wrecking Ball, just rolling through a team and just pushing their tanks just like 15 freaking miles, like all the way into the enemy team's backline. Yeah, so
yep. And then they're useless.
Yeah, it feels like you can just be bullied as a tank, right? And that shouldn't be. You should be the one that everyone should be afraid of. Like you're this big, powerful tank. You should
exactly.
You should be respected. And I think that's a good change. I think overall, with that tank change alone, the game would be in a better place.
Yeah, it would definitely feel a lot better. It would feel different. And I mean, I will say, you know, when they showed the gameplay of like Ryan running through teams, I was like, that looks terrifying. Like some of the changes that they proposed for Ryan with being able to maneuver his charge more, the double fire strike.
Being able to
Obviously they said
the
that
charge.
these are changes. Yeah, even so that is such a strategic thing.
That is huge.
That's
the biggest
massive.
one. Yeah.
Yep.
Just being able to stop.
And they did say that, you know, it's very well possible that this doesn't go through.
Yeah.
But oh my God, like I've seen how like the combo between charge, stop, like just to push. Imagine charging a Ryan that has his shield up. You push him back into the rest of his team, boom, you use your ult.
Yep.
That's combo right there. And that was terrifying to look at. Like Ryan actually looked like the tank that he should be. But it's such a hard thing to balance, you know?
Yeah. I think that Ryan may be a bit too strong, but who knows? Like they say they want to make tanks feel more impactful. So if they bring all the tanks up to that level, then it could be good because like sure Ryan is strong, but maybe there's another tank that can counter. Maybe there's a tank that they're working on that's unreleased yet that doesn't even care about Ryan, that just bullies him.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting to see the shape that, you know, the game's taken. And, you know, one thing I will say is from the start when I was watching the presentation, I must say, like, I'm sure some of it is for the camera and, you know, some of it is just for the event and everything. But I absolutely loved the energy that the team had, you know, like I know some of it, again, you know, it's for the camera, but I do think that they like legitimately love what they're doing and like they really do like play the game to some extent. At least Overwatch 2. I don't know about Overwatch 1, but you know, Overwatch 2, I think that they definitely like you could feel the passion, you know.
Definitely.
Like that one lady who was like, "Oh, you know, I'm a big RPG fan. Having a skill tree in Overwatch is like a dream come true, right?"
Yeah.
So
yeah, like I didn't know I need that. I didn't know I need that until they showed me. I was like, oh, wow. Yeah, because that's like one of the things. Overwatch, I mean, we've spoken about it, is that one of the greatest things about Overwatch is the characters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And being able to just mold that character to just become yours. It's like, I think that's going to be special. I'm predicting, early prediction here, whenever it does release, it's going to be Game of the Year again.
I can believe that. There's nothing that I can see released in the same time as Overwatch that I think would trump it, just because of how wide-reaching Overwatch's, you know, story, their characters, their game is, you know. There's a lot of people who love Overwatch.
Yep.
Rightfully so.
I mean, it won Game of the Year when it came out with, and it was solely a PvP game. It was just tutorial, multiplayer. That's the entire game. And that won Game of the Year. So you add in more modes and the story, and I think it's just gonna blow everything out of the water when it comes out. I don't see anything beating it unless something crazy. Is Kishimoto working on anything? Because
like, I really can't think of literally almost any, like because here's the thing, the story and the franchise that Overwatch has is already so, like you said, you know, it won Game of the Year when it was just tutorial multiplayer, and they managed with cinematics and in-game dialogue and interactions to build a whole universe of characters that you love, like from that multiplayer only experience. Now you're telling me that there's a PvE mode that fleshes out these characters even more and has more story and more cinematics built. Come on.
Yeah, it's gonna be incredible. I think it's harder for this game to be bad than it is to be good.
Yeah, honestly, like you have to really mess it
They
up.
have to try to make it bad, and
to make it
they
bad.
they are talented work of people, especially their writers, which is one of the reasons why I'm excited to play through their story, because the writing has been so good. I think the story mode is going to be probably the best part on release.
And the thing that's crazy is that the writing goes outside of the game. It's not just the game. They also have comics, you know, for the game, you know, like with giving backstories. Like I've read a few of the comics, and it's so, you know, there's much more to the game in terms of story. Like the team of writers that's behind the game, they really have fleshed out this world. And it was also interesting to hear them talking about when they're designing the maps, they also have the writers like have a backstory for each map, so that way when they're designing the maps, you know, like they can make it feel real, they can make it feel impactful, they can make you feel like you're there, and like it's not just some random environment.
Yeah, you know, I kind of get from this game, I kind of get like a Avengers Endgame vibe. You know, where like all the characters had like a different place, and you kind of like get to learn like okay, this is what's happening with this character, and or you get like all of them coming together because all this time has passed in the story, right? And we don't know where Soldier 76 is mentally now, right?
Yeah,
because like Overwatch gets shut down, like I'm sure he got the recall message from Winston, like where's his head at with that, right? We haven't really had like a proper, we had like a sort of a Soldier short, like we had one.
We had the one with him on El Dorado.
Yeah, and that was like at release or near release or something like that. Yeah. And you know, but like there's like, we don't know where Genji's at. Like Genji in that new skin, what's he been doing? That's another thing. The new the new skins.
I still remember with that the new skins that, you know, that the slightly more modern, the slightly, you know, more refined, a little bit more futuristic skins that these characters are gonna have.
Yeah.
You know, like they showed off 4. They showed Widow, Reaper, McCree, and Pharah, right?
Yeah.
And you know, it's crazy how like these little subtle changes really make the characters feel like new, fresh, and just a little bit more modern, right? And a little bit more mature. Like I like how they grew out McCree's beard a little bit more. Feels I'm getting some damn it, what's the character that Clint Eastwood used to play, you know?
In Gran Torino?
No, in
Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, he played like back in the days, like that was what he was kind of known for, you know.
Bro,
are you feeling lucky, punk? That character.
I'm basically a Suma, bro. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, what? So you know, we're young, so but whatever like that character is, I get vibes like that from McCree now. So a little bit older, a little bit more refined, sips his whiskey a little bit slower. So I'm definitely looking forward to just those little nuances.
Yeah, I mean,
one thing I actually wanted to talk about too is the new sound system.
I was just gonna bring that up. Yeah,
perfect. I was gonna say, you know, sounds like Apex really needs to snatch some guys from over at Blizzard.
Oh god,
the amount of work that they're putting into that, like, you know, they actually went and had guns shot in different environments, in buildings, outside of buildings, in places with like narrow halls, and you know, just to really get that feel for like, oh, this is how a weapon should sound indoors or outdoors. And like who asked for that? Nobody asked for that, but they're putting that in there.
There was no one who, I've never seen anyone say, you know what I really don't like about Overwatch? I don't like how the weapon feels.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like that when I shoot my gun, it doesn't sound like I'm shooting into a warehouse. That's why I don't like. That's my pet peeve. That's
exactly.
No one asked
And that's
for
going
that.
above and beyond.
Yeah. Yep. And I hope that this revamped sound system doesn't mess with the already good sound that the game has. Like just being able, like I don't want like to like yeah. It sounds like this is like I'm shooting into like a warehouse or a canyon right now, but I can't hear the footsteps right behind me. I don't want that.
Well, you don't want an Apex problem.
Yeah. I want to be able
If
to
it's
hear
not
the
broke,
person
don't
healing
fix it.
on the opposite side of the map, but not the person running running right behind me.
Oh man, it's I mean, but I do think that if there's one thing that they do get right, it is sound. They're very good at that.
Yep.
So
Actually, the last thing I wanted to touch on is Sojourn. What do you think of Sojourn?
I remember watching and I was like, this very much feels like Soldier, 76. And then the railgun came and I was like, huh? I was like, wait, what? What is this? I was like, okay, I like this. I'm very much interested to seeing what her, full kit is specifically, because we've only seen, okay, her gun is kind of like 76.
Yeah, it looked like
the rail gun.
It looked like on the bottom. I was looking at her her utility, her abilities. It looked like she has 3 abilities. The real gun looks like it's one, like it's a swappable mode or something like that. It looked like
there is a charge on her gun, just like how Zarya has, like she builds charge, but I think it's the opposite. Like instead of Zarya having to absorb charge to build it, like it just builds over time, and then when you use it, the charge gets depleted and then has to build back up.
Yeah, it looked like she had a mobility ability as well, because it looked like an icon for a dash or something like that. I'm not sure. It could be anything. They didn't use it. The only thing they used was the railgun and her primary. So we don't even know what role she is. It looks like, I'm assuming DPS.
I'm assuming DPS as well. I honestly think that there was that little part of the cinematic where she jumped and then like kind of like drop kicked this, well, not like she jumped in the air and then she landed with a kick on like one of the null sector robots. And I'm wondering, maybe is that what the mobility is? It kind of like a Batiste jump and maybe like I don't know,
kind of like a Batiste jump into a Doomfist ultimate. Into
yeah. A little bit calmer though. Maybe it does a little bit of knockback or something.
Yeah, that's what Overwatch needs, more CC.
Oh man, soon enough you'll be able to have a CC character in each role.
Yeah, that's my main, actually that's my main complaint about Overwatch 1, that's why I don't play the game anymore. Not enough crowd control,
We really need more of that, I'm really looking for that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you just can't knock players around the map and just like basically chain stun them until they can't play the game anymore. That's what I don't really get that vibe from the game anymore,
I do wonder, like, again, how, going back to like the skill tree and stuff in PvE, because we have so many of these what they call objective units and lots of just different units in the game that are going to be enemies that we're fighting. How's it going to be a case of building your kit? Like, do you want to build now like a CC kit, something that can corral enemies or something? It's so interesting how many different ways that you can probably play the same missions,
Yeah. Like they literally didn't have to say anything else. All they had to say was character, skill trees. And then everyone's mind just like, you just go. Because if you've ever played an RPG game before, you know how much you can change the way your character plays just based on different skills.
Yeah.
So you could
like that Reinhardt with the fire strike that turns enemies into ice.
Oh, or the 360 shatter.
Man.
There were the shatter, the cone shatter. Oh,
I saw that. I was like, that looks so, bruh.
That looks dope, bro. Like playing with a Reinhardt that could do that, and then you like I don't know, you whatever Tracer or Genji can do, or like Genji just dashes through all of them after
Yep.
Rein stuns them. Oh.
It's gonna be great to see some of these new combos that you get as you develop, and build these characters. Because again, the skill tree itself just creates so much opportunity for synergy because and and again, now you have all of these characters. You just have so many characters, and there's gonna be so many different types of synergy that you can have.
Yeah. There's gonna be specific PvE synergies. I can see that. There might be. You see, I was about to say that there might be a meta for PvE, but then again, like with the skill tree, you can just design a character to play so differently that it wouldn't even matter. Like yeah, this could be the meta. This might be the fastest way to beat the mission, but
yeah,
most of the time with PvE games, the fastest way isn't what really what people focus on. You really focus on what's the most fun way. Like what's
the most fun way? What's the way that I can have the most fun while playing with my friends? And like what's some of these weird combos that we might be able to come up with? Like that shouldn't work, but it does.
Yeah. Yeah, something like a Mercy with I don't know, like a Mercy. That was the worst character I could pick because Mercy literally plays well with everyone.
Kind of goes with everybody.
Something like okay, like a better one would be like Symmetra Doomfist or something like that.
Yeah, that would be a weird comp. Like that would.
Yeah, but
I'm trying to even think how that synergy would work.
With skill trees, there might be a way for it to work.
There may be something there. There may be something there.
Yeah.
So, and again, I'm really interested to see some of these different bosses, these different units, like the puller. Man, I saw that.
That looked creepy. That looks so creepy.
They said, imagine, you're walking down like this dark hallway and then you hear the puller spawn. I'm just like, are you trying to make this a horror?
I'd rather not imagine that game. Okay, listen, I was living my entire life not imagining that, and I'd like to continue, please.
Oh man, the real sad thing is though, I guarantee you, there's gonna be Rule 34.
I mean, it's the internet, bro. It's a rule for a reason.
Gosh, that's gonna be so.
Like every single character, like even before the game comes out, bro, there's gonna be Rule 34 stuff.
Yep. It's just gotta live with it. It's the internet for a reason, right?
Yep, that's how it is. Next thing on the enemies though, I like that. I forgot the name they call it. Was the Annihilator or something like that, where you could destruct different parts of it.
Oh yeah, the different like guns and like the thing that has the big cannons and then it twists and stuff. Yeah. That was nice, and I love how they're spending so much time for the visuals and these little nuances that really make the game like so refined.
I mean, yeah.
Where it's like, shooting that thing, it's electricity, it's sparking, that means it's now I know to shoot it more, kind of thing. Like all of these, like, yeah, it's in other games and stuff, but like it's gonna be the first time we see Overwatch do it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and like Blizzard, like they always have that polish. So
yep.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like we've been talking about a lot of things that we liked. Was there anything that you didn't like?
Off the top of my head, no. I mean, just because like the only reason I say no is just because I know that they probably haven't revealed some things that I probably like, that they haven't fleshed out to the point yet where I cannot like it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, well, nothing's really set in stone yet. See.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I can't say that there's anything that like I don't like just because I know all of this is subject to change.
Yeah.
What about you?
Not really. Like I think I'm on the same boat as you. Like I was just so hyped just to get the news, and I literally became a fanboy. Like I was just
it's
like,
nice to go back to that feeling though.
yeah. I couldn't find anything that I disliked.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're there though. Like
I'm sure like when it gets released we'll find it, but like right now where the game is at, there's really not enough that they've put out for us to like not like yet, because again, it's just not set in stone.
Yep.
Anything could change at any point. So
yep.
I mean, but
And
overall the game is like looking really refined. The sound design, the crisp, detailed environments, they're just very well thought out, like little things, the animations, the sounds, and
yeah,
I just think it's shaping up to
new
be like
face animations though.
Yeah, they have the whole face rigging. They said, they've really invested a lot of time and money into the software and the development and stuff. So it's shaping up to be a great game with great gameplay and great mechanics, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think Jeff summarized it well when he said they're really looking for it to be a proper successor to Overwatch 1. And like a lot when Overwatch 2 was announced in 2019, a lot of people thought it would be an expansion or just like this extra add-on.
I thought so.
Yeah.
I really thought so. I thought it would have been more like those limited time modes,
Yeah. But now it's really, really looking like it's going to be a whole new game with like revamped system, and it's going to be its own thing, and it's going to be a proper successor. It's going to be worthy of the name Overwatch 2.
The title Overwatch 2.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%. I literally can't agree with that anymore. I do think that because there's so many successors that come along that are just so disappointing.
I mean, there's like all the COD
normally.
I
feel like COD gets worse every year, man. Jeez.
There's all the COD. There's all the battlefields. Like.
Yeah. Although we do still have to try out. We'll probably do this. We'll probably play it after, right?
Yeah, or Battlefield 5.
Battlefield, 5.
Yeah.
That might be the game that we check out for. We've been looking for something to play. That might be what we play.
Yeah. Need something to play until Overwatch 2 comes out in 2077.
Yeah. And that's the thing. They gave us no, release, and I knew it was coming, like just because they were like, especially that moment when they said we could sit down and we could play Overwatch 2 right now and have fun. But it's not polished yet. And I was like, you guys don't even have a release date. You're not going to tell me anything.
Nope. Not even an inkling, bro. The only news we have is not in 2021. And that they didn't even say that directly. That's from our earnings report. So that's the only news we have.
Yeah.
Not this year. So
which, I mean, again, I guess it's better than Cyberpunk in it, right?
Yeah. It's better than releasing a game that wasn't ready. And I really, I guess like, given that release date just gives you so much pressure, like that's exactly what happened with Cyberpunk. They needed to release Cyberpunk in 2020. Like it got pushed back so much that it became a meme, and they were like under so much pressure. It was like, okay, we need to get this game out this year, and they eventually get it out on the last month of the year with all the issues. And they're still trying to fix it.
And I mean, again, that's like you said, it puts that pressure on them. And it's a case of you run into issues that you don't know are issues or are going to be issues. So when you run into those and you have the timeline, what do? You either fix them in a really cheap way, like just putting a Band-Aid over it, or, you really sit down and you polish it. And I think not having that timeline, I think that's a very important part of Overwatch 2, where, we would love to know, when it's coming out, but at the same time, we also don't want, you know, something mediocre. So
yeah,
I'm okay with waiting.
yeah. I don't think they're going to give us anything mediocre.
Yeah. If there's one thing we could trust Papa Jeff for, it's to not be mediocre.
Yep, quality shit. I think that's it. I think that you have anything else you want to talk about with Overwatch then?
No, I think that's really it. Yeah, we got through basically everything. I actually, one question I am interested, like those new maps, are they coming to like Overwatch 1, like New York and Rome?
I'm not sure. They did say that the PvP experience is going to be integrated, so I assume yes. But I mean, who knows? I really can't say because there's a revamped UI, and it looked like,
Yeah,
I don't know, it looked like the environment is a little different. So I don't know if that would work well with Overwatch 1. Is Overwatch 1 going to get updated visuals as well?
probably not to that extent. So this might be, but again, this is also like they probably have it in Overwatch 2 for playtesting. Who knows? It's really hard to tell. They didn't really give any specifics, so
yeah,
who knows?
They themselves probably don't know. So
that's a very good point.
yeah, I mean, when we get there, right?
That's the thing. 2022, maybe.
Yeah, possibly. I'm setting my sights on 2023. If it comes 2022, I'm excited, but I'm expecting.
It's gonna be a while.
Yeah, I'm bunkering down for the long haul.
The long haul, man. That's the long haul. But either way, we know when we get it, it'll be good. So
all right, yeah. Well, thanks for listening to our Overwatch 2 episode. Hopefully, it's been interesting. If you are an Overwatch fan, it should be interesting. Come on, and if you're not, thanks for making it this far.
For real.
Just remember, we're not scientists, we're not engineers, just a couple of gamers that talk tech. All right, peace.